Hey guys, welcome to the Dreams Guy podcast. My name is John Thomas and I'm the Dreams Guy. This is another episode with a dreamer, and today I have with me Wendy Hansen. So, Wendy, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it.
I'm excited.
Yeah. So, you had a dream. About how long ago did you have this dream?
In February.
Okay, in February. So, go ahead and share your dream.
Okay. So I was driving and I was with my daughter and some other people in the car. Um, I went into there was some reason that I had to swerve or get off the road, and I went into some water. It was like a lake of water. I knew that it wasn't my fault, but I got this feeling that everyone was going to think it was my fault due to some history, I guess. But there was nothing I could do, and then all of a sudden I was in heaven. It's not like I felt like I died or anything, but I was just in heaven, and it was like a city, and it was like hustling and bustling. There were restaurants and people working and people everywhere, and I greeted a few relatives. I can't think of anybody in particular, but I just said hi, but I was on a mission. I wanted to get to see Jesus. That was my whole agenda. But as I kept asking where Jesus was, people would tell me, oh, most people don't go in there. They can't go there. So he's that way, but you can't really go see him. And so, but I just kept walking, and I kept along the way. I wasn't sure at all where I was going, so I kept asking people, which is the way to Jesus? And they're like, oh, it's down there, but you won't be able to go in anyway. And so I just kept going, and I just kept going that way, and then I got to this room, and the same thing. I'm like, is this the room? Is this where Jesus is? They're like, yeah, but you can't go in there. And so I had passed some other people I know, some friends, and they were content to just be outside. But I just knew I had to go in, and so I just opened the door. Even though they said I couldn't, I did it anyway. And I opened the door, and Jesus was there, and I was excited, and he gave me a hug, and and then I went up to him, and he had this favorites board. It was like the just like this whiteboard, and and it said favorites, and um, my name and my daughter's name was on there.
Wow.
And so it was just I was surprised, because I was just a little guarded sometimes, but I was very excited, and so that was my dream. And then
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. What an interesting dream.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to try to repeat back that. And
Mhm.
so just make sure I've got the details correct. So it starts out, you're driving in a car and you've got some other people, your daughter, you said,
My
and some
daughter was
other
with me, and I
people.
don't know who else, but there were other
Yeah.
people in the car.
And you're driving down the road and something happened that made you have to swerve. And you knew it wasn't your fault, but you had to swerve. And when you did, you ended up in this body of water.
Yes.
And you're thinking people are going to think that it's your fault, but it really wasn't your fault. You were just doing what you had to do. And scene changes. Now you're in heaven. You don't remember anything else, but you know you're in heaven. And there's people there. So you recognize some people that you know, family, you say hi to them, but you're set on like, I'm in heaven. I'm going to go see Jesus. And so you're on this journey and you're like, well, where can I find him? And everybody gives you the same answer. Well, he's over there, but nobody goes in there. Like, you really can't do that. And so you just keep on pursuing. You're not going to be stopped on this pursuit. But one of the things you mentioned, when in this kind of the scene that you knew was heaven in the dream, but in the scene it was you said there was restaurants and there were like shops and different things, kind of like a nice city area. All right. So you're walking through and you keep on asking and you keep on going the same direction, keep on getting the same answer. And finally you get to this room and you can see the door. And you ask again, is this the door with Jesus? Yeah, but you can't go in there. And you're like, I want to see Jesus. So you open the door and you go in. As soon as you go in, Jesus just wraps his arm about you. He gives you this big
Yeah.
old hug.
Yeah.
And you're walking over to where he's at. And as you do, you notice this like whiteboard and it says favorites. And you see your name and your daughter's name on it. And then that's where the dream ends.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. It's a fun dream. There's a couple things that are here, but it's one of those dreams that God's using to heal some things. So the first part, you have like just going about life. There's been things that have happened in your life that you were just doing what you had to do, but there's been this expectation of criticism for other people that's been haunting you in the decisions that you've made. And even when it was the right decision and you knew it was the right decision, there was no other option, that has haunted you. And it's been something that you've recognized and how it's affected you. And that even affects your church life. And so heaven here is not talking about heaven like what heaven's going to be like. Because in heaven there's, well, we expect there's not going to be restaurants. You're not going to have to buy anything. I mean, you can go into any place. There are banqueting rooms, I'm sure. But, right, and people are not going to be saying you can't go to Jesus. So this is actually representing church. Like there's been this place in part of your church experience and in your spiritual life and your pursuit of the spiritual life. You've seen people that are just content with church as it is. Like, and they're just kind of going about the business of it. And they're not really like, no, it takes somebody special to really pursue Jesus, to really get that close to Jesus. But your heart has never been okay with that answer. You've been looking for him. You've been longing for more and that place of intimacy. And he's bringing you to the place where you really encounter him. And when you encounter him, it's not going to be like what anybody else said. He's been longing and waiting for you. He's going to run with a hug. And you're going to find out that you are one of his favorites. It's not I wish you wouldn't have opened that door. Now I'm going to have to pretend to be nice and be loving because I'm God, right? It is his genuine heart. Like you were already written on there before you came in. You are one of his favorites. And that revelation is going to begin to break off that criticism that's been haunting you since you were a child. I did everything right and it wasn't good enough. Does that make sense?
It does. It was such a surprise to me. Like, when I saw that board, like I didn't expect that. I mean, I wasn't sure
Yeah.
he was going to let me in even, but I knew
Yep.
I was going to go anyway. I was going to try.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
he gave you that dream so that you would realize, because there's parts of you in some ways you're still thinking like, I mean, God's a little bit distant. Like if I did things a little bit better, if I was a little bit more spiritual, if I prayed more, whatever those things are, right? Then maybe I could be that close. But he's saying that, no, 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 that's not me. That's the religious system. That's not me. I love you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wh-
That's really cool.
What do you think the water is?
The water, did you remember going underwater? Yeah. A lot of times when you go underwater, it's because something is overwhelming. So circumstances that get overwhelming, decisions you had to make that put you into overwhelming situations, and people thought it was your fault, but you were just doing the best that you could do with what you had.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was surprising that in that dream there were some friends of mine that are spirit filled Christians, but still weren't trying to go in.
Yeah. Yeah, but there are some people, and maybe it's not specifically them, but they represent the type of people, like they know about God, they're spirit filled, and yet they're not pursuing that level of intimacy because and it's not even their own pursuit. It's the mindset that God doesn't really love me that much. But he's saying, no, I really do love you that much. Like I'm not the one that's saying you can't come in here, that you shouldn't come in here, that that's not for you. That was never his heart. People say that, and even people that are spirit filled say that. Yet the truth is, he's just waiting there. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So you've got two things, applications for this dream. One, this is for your heart, right?
Cool.
He was speaking to you because he was healing something and trying to change that mindset that's there. The other piece is there's an application for your daughter.
Yeah.
Like that realization, hey, God showed me you really are one of his favorites. Realizing she's dealing with that same thing that you're dealing with. And that confusion of, does God really want me that close? Am I really welcome to come to that place? And so there's something for you to give to your daughter in that.
Okay.
But I think that there's another application is you're going to get to share this with people.
Cool.
Like, and we talked earlier, you'd gone through some training for the healing of hearts.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah.
this is, he's giving you something, he's giving you a testimony, but he's also equipping you to help others. And you're going to find yourself talking to people that have that mindset, and you'll hear it in the way that they talk about God. And it'll be like they've got to do something, they've got to earn, they've got to, that kind of thing, to be able to get him to love them at that level, to get close to him. And now you have this revelation that's going to have greater authority when you speak to them. No, actually, this is who God is. It's going to have a greater impact.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Cool. Any other questions?
Well, I like what you said about my daughter. My daughter's adopted, so she struggles
Wow.
with some issues
Yeah.
from that, sometimes.
Yeah.
And so just being accepted, fully accepted, and
Yeah.
and all that. And so I wonder how I can really help her with that. And so she struggles with God sometimes, knowing, you know.
Well, depending on what she thinks about God speaking, but if there's any openness at all, I mean, sometimes it's just saying, I had this really cool dream where God healed something in my heart. But when I was there, I saw something really cool. He had a list of his favorites, and I saw your name on it. Like that could do so much for somebody's heart. Just that little thing, like, I don't know, but that it'll haunt her because it's true. And that truth that gets spoken, the Holy Spirit he takes it as a seed and puts it in the back of her mind, and it just begins to grow and grow and grow. So that's one thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
I definitely will.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This was great, and what a beautiful dream.
thank
Like,
you.
we all need to dream like
Grateful.
that.
Yeah,
It's so good.
it was a gift.
It really was a
Yeah,
gift. It really
yeah.
was a gift. Yeah. Thank you so much. Well, guys, thanks for joining us for this episode of The Dreams Guy. My name's John Thomas. I'm The Dreams Guy, and we will see you next time. Until then, keep dreaming.